Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, That Model Railway Guy, and welcome to a brand new running session video. So this time last year I took on the Inglenook Shunting Puzzle, and that video seemed to be really popular with you guys. So seeing as there are loads of different combinations and ways to solve that puzzle, I figured I'd have another go at it today. Now if you don't know what the Inglenook Shunting Puzzle is, well essentially it's kind of a game that you can play when you're shunting wagons about on your layout. Now last time I did it on my micro layout Pickwick Yard, but I thought today I'd have a go at doing it on the Modular Model Railway instead. So let's head over there now and I'll recap all of the rules so you can follow along. So here we are on the Modular Model Railway, and let's quickly just recap the rules for the Inglenook Shunting Puzzle. The basic premise of the game is that you have 8 wagons spread randomly over 3 sidings, and you need to shunt them into a specific order to make up a 5-wagon train. Now, I don't have 3 sidings on the layout, so I'll be cheating slightly by using the main line at the back there, along with these 2 sidings you can see at the front. Sounds simple so far, right? Well, here's where it gets a bit more tricky. In 2 of your sidings, you're only allowed to leave 3 wagons at a time, and in the final siding, you can leave 5 wagons at a time. For me, the main line and the back siding are going to be the 2 that I'm allowed to leave 3 wagons in, and the front siding will be where I can leave 5 wagons. And obviously, I know that these sidings are long enough to hold more than that, but we're just playing by honour rules today. So in order to move between the 3 sidings, you also need a head shunt, and for me, I'm going to use platform 2, and here I'm allowed to have 3 wagons and a single loco at any one time. So those are the rules. Don't worry if it seems a little overwhelming at the moment. Once we get into it, hopefully it will be easier to understand. So we have our wagons to shunt, and now we just need a loco to do the shunting. And as you can see, coming out of the shed now, we have a little tank engine, which is the Bachmann Midland 1F. This is a really nice little tank engine, actually, a very good slow speed, so it should be fantastic for shunting with. And as that crosses over the points, let's take a look at the order we need to shunt the wagons into. I've decided this using a very highly scientific method of just picking the wagons in a random order. So, starting from left to right, we have the Scarwood wagon, followed by the Bird's Eye van, the English Eggs van, then the Arnold Sands wagon, following up with the North Stand wagon there on the end. So, we'll flip the points, we'll get into the sidings, and we'll take a look at what we need to do. So, generally what I like to do with the Inglenook Shunting Puzzle is I like to start from the back of the train first. So in this instance, that is the Scarwood wagon, so that is the back of the train. So here you can see the Scarwood wagon is behind the Fine Fish wagon. I think what I'm going to do here is pull all of this out, and we can drop the Mineral wagon off, hopefully where that flat wagon is on the main line. So we can just sort of move it out of the way and then build everything up in siding number 1. And as you can see, I'm pulling everything into the head shunt here. I have 3 wagons and the loco, and that is the maximum of wagons I'm allowed in the head shunt here. So yeah, no more than this. Here we go, we'll just bring the Mineral wagon here, and what we'll do is we'll drop this off with the flat wagon and the North Stand wagon. We're going to have to get that North Stand wagon out eventually for the front of the train, but yeah, now we can just take the Fine Fish wagon and the Scarwood wagon, and basically what I'm going to do is just drop the Scarwood wagon off into the siding, and that can form the back of the train. So we'll put that in siding number 1. I'm going to use siding number 1 to build up the train essentially, because that will allow me to have 5 wagons in, so that makes it a little bit easier. And the nice thing about doing this on the modular layout as well is that I can control the points automatically with the motors, so yeah, less reaching over and having to flip points manually. And the Bachmann Midland 1F is actually a really nice slow runner, as I mentioned earlier. I wasn't all that impressed with it when I originally got it, actually. When I had it on DC analog, yeah, it wasn't an amazing runner. It wasn't bad either, but it was just nothing to write home about. But since I put a decoder in it, it's probably become one of my favourite engines just because of how controllable it is.
And I think this engine cost me about £70 or something, so, you know, considering that the prices of locos have increased dramatically in the last sort of 18 months or so, yeah, this is an absolute bargain. And it's perfect for my layout as well, in that, you know, I think I originally wanted something like a Ginty, just because I sort of feel that was right for a heritage railway. But yeah, this the Midland 1F looks fantastic, you know, pulling a rake of 3 or 4 Mark 1 coaches in maroon. Very heritage railway feeling. Not today though, we're shunting some wagons today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just moving the fine fish wagon around, and you can see that the fish finger wagon and the English eggs van are both sort of there already set up in the order that we need them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring both of these vans out and then just push them up to the Scarwood wagon in siding number 1. So we're coming into the head shunt again, and as I mentioned before, 3 wagons, so this is the limit that we can have. We can flip the points into siding number 1, and then we can drop off the bird's eye van and the English eggs van. And that means we'll have the first 3 wagons of the train, or rather the last 3 wagons of the train, in order. So after that we'll just need to figure out how to get the Arnold Sands wagon in there and the Northstand wagon. I think actually it shouldn't be too tricky. And I mean, the great thing about the Inglenook Shunting Puzzle is that there are so many combinations, so you're not going to run out of puzzles to solve anytime soon. This one actually is a relatively easy one, but there have been many occasions where I've gotten quite stuck on this. I did one on a live stream a while back, and yeah, it definitely befuddled me a little bit. The other thing to mention as well is that I am running the engine relatively slowly to sort of keep, you know, a semblance of semi-realism to this, because I know that not everyone will want to sort of listen to me whittering on about, you know, how to solve the puzzle or what I'm necessarily doing. But, you know, for those people, you can turn the volume down and just watch the train run and just enjoy it. But yeah, you could also do this as like a speed challenge, I guess, as well, where you try and solve the puzzle as quickly as possible. So I have seen people do that as well, and there are people who can solve this like amazingly quickly, so yeah. So all I'm doing now is I'm just going to pick up the Arnold Sands wagon. We've still got the fine fish van in front of the engine here. But yeah, we seem to be sort of permanently coupled to that at the moment. But we'll pick up the Arnold Sands wagon, and then we can just bring that onto the front of the train, onto the front of the English eggs van there in siding number 1. And after that, I think probably what I'll do is I'll go and pick up the mineral wagon and the flat wagon and leave the Northstand wagon there. I will try not to get too far ahead of myself though, so let's just get the Arnold Sands wagon on at the moment. You can see the SECRP class in the background there. That was the loco that I used for the Inglenook Shunting Challenge last time. Yeah, another really, really good runner. Something I got a lot of comments on actually the last time I did this challenge was how I did the uncoupling. A lot of people were confused by that, but literally all it was is I uncoupled everything by hand and I just cut those bits out of the video. But yeah, I had a lot of people asking me how I did the uncoupling, so unfortunately there's no amazing trick to the uncoupling. It was just yeah, video editing. Although that said, if you haven't seen it already, I have done a little quick tip video on how you can do invisible uncoupling on a budget on your layout, just using a little bit of plastic, so definitely check that out. There should be a link at the top right of the video now if you're interested in that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick up the mineral wagon and the flat wagon, which are on the main line at the moment. We've kind of just sort of left these to their own devices at the moment, haven't really paid them much attention because we haven't needed them. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick both of these wagons up and move them into siding 2. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not taking the North Stand wagon with me here and just attaching that to the front of the train, but remember that I can't have any more than 3 wagons in the head shunt at any one moment, so this is the maximum amount of wagons I can have in the head shunt. So yeah, we can move these 3 wagons all at once and get them out of the way into siding number 2, and then after this we can just pick up the North Stand wagon and attach that to the front of the train. And building the train up from the back has actually worked really quite well for me. I know that there are other people who like to build it from the front and work backwards, and then there are people like me who like to work from the back and work their way forwards. It doesn't really matter which way you go, I guess. Personally, I find doing it from the back much easier, but yeah, it's a handy little trick that actually, just to kind of get started if you're not used to doing the Inglenook puzzle. It's a sort of a handy little tip just sort of to get you started, and yeah, just sort of think it through one wagon at a time. And of course, if you can't do all 5 wagons initially, you know, if you can only get 2 or 3 in the right order, well, that's fine, and you know, you gradually get better at it with practice. And you know, I've had combinations of puzzles where I've just gotten completely stuck and I don't know what I'm doing, and I've had to start over. And then I've had other ones where, like today, it's been a little bit easier and I sort of can see what I need to do straight away. So yeah, thankfully that was the one that I got on video. So to finish up now, I'm just going to go and collect that North Stand wagon and we'll add that to the front of the train. And the nice thing with this as well is that it means we will have the main line completely clear. So that's a nice little bonus there. So we're coupled up to the North Stand wagon now, and we can just reverse back into the head shunt. Yeah, I'm always amazed at how smoothly the Midland 1F runs. Definitely worth picking one up if you need a sort of a small British Railways tank engine, if there's any still around. I think they were very popular for a while, and now I think they may all be sold out, but if you can find one, it's definitely worth having a look at. And these wagons are all old second-hand wagons that I had from a kid, actually, which is why you might see them jumping over the points occasionally, because they don't have the finest wheels in the world. But here we are, just going to add the North Stand wagon to the front of the train, and that will be our train complete. So yeah, we've built up a little freight train, we've cleared the main line as well. And so with that, the puzzle is complete, and we have all the wagons in the correct order. And you can see that I have the North Stand wagon there if we just cross-reference this against the graphic. The North Stand wagon followed by the Arnold Sands wagon, then the English Eggs van, the Fish Finger, the Bird's Eye van there, and then the Scarwood wagon at the rear. So yeah, always good to check, but we have managed to get everything in the correct order. And I'm just pulling everything into platform 2 now. Yes, I know that this is technically 5 wagons and the engine, but the challenge is officially over now, I think, so we're allowed to do this. And last time I got a few comments saying that I hadn't put a Brakevan on the back of the train. So for the rivet counters out there who got annoyed with me about that, I will put a Brakevan on the back, seeing as the main line is cleared. So here is the Ruston 48DS now, coming with a little Southern Railways Brakevan, just to annoy the rivet counters again, because it's a Southern Railways Brakevan being pulled by it will be pulled by a Midland engine or an LMS engine. So yeah, but it's a heritage railway. I can do what I want. It's a Rule 1 situation. And the Ruston also a really nice slow runner. And maybe I should do an Inglenook shunting challenge with the Ruston at some point, and some really small wagons, because as you can see, it's going to go over these points really well. So yeah, do let me know in the comments if you would like to see that at some point. I think what I will have to do is I'll have to do the Inglenook shunting challenge again once I've got all the scenery done on this board. So there we go, with the Brakevan on the back of the train, the Ruston can now pull away back into the sidings. And then you can also see those are the wagons that we didn't use this time round. I think actually they may well be the same wagons that I didn't use on the original video that I did, which if that is the case, that's just a complete coincidence, but yeah. And so with the train complete, with its brake van, the Midland 1F can set off. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this as well. Do let me know if you would like to see this in the future. And obviously, you know, let me know if you have a go at doing this yourself or if you feel like trying it out. I do think it is a great way to sort of get used to shunting and to give a bit of purpose to your layout. Don't forget, you don't have to have a big layout like I do. You can build an Inglenook Shunting Puzzle layout in a relatively small space. If you're not necessarily interested in seeing trains run round in a circle all the time, it's a great way to sort of have a bit of fun with your model railway. But anyway, I'm really pleased with how this has gone. I think the Bachmann Midland 1F performed exceptionally well. And there goes our train. So if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, all of that stuff. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!